Masters.
Good afternoon.
This is the scene that's flashing in my head. Vijay, before I come back, you need to do X, Y, Z, blah, 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 blah. Okay, now if you're wondering, oh, is she trying to narrate? No, that's exactly a visual scene that stayed in my head for all through my growing up years, because that's what my mom used to do. And when did I have this flashback in my head? When I was going through a session on communication and I saw the word aggression. I did not have to read anything through, because the moment I read, this was exactly that scene flashed in my head. And I could, as I read through the description, well, there is a shrill voice, it's a commanding voice, it's always a one-way where you just get instructions and the person never even waits for you to acknowledge if you're willing to do it, if you're in a mood to do it, if you can do it or not. And the person who is actually rendering the message just takes it for granted that you are going to do it. Right? For me, family has always been my first teacher. To go and refresh your memories, remember, I was the third born. So I had 5 people in my family who were all the time in my house, and quite a few uncles and aunts and grandmas and granddads who kept visiting on a very occasional basis. So as I went through this communication training in my computer, believe me, every single style of communication only flashed a character in my head. It was like, I could visualize them standing right next to me and saying, hey, you don't need to read all that steps. Just remember, that's me. And I'm like, oh yeah. So that's how I learned that aggression is good, but it has to be fine-tuned, right? So going on, I went through a little more styles. One of them was passive. I still remember this teacher in my school. I still have this feeling he should have gone for a different profession. I mean, no hard feelings, but I used to sit in the second row in the class, and he was a very well-educated man. Unfortunately, I do not know from where he did his master's or bachelor's, but I could sense that he had the knowledge in him. But unfortunately, when it came to delivering it, it was very bad. So bad that even sitting in the second row, I had to keep fine-tuning my ear. Okay, oh, did he say something? And the worst was when I had to take notes when he was actually dictating. And that was a nightmare for most of our classmates. So most of us used to just copy from what the first person people wrote. Never know what was right, what was wrong. Right? Coming back to the topic. What it made me realize is communication style is a very, very important. Why? Because it is like a mirror image of your personality. Imagine today was the first time you ever saw me. You would probably think I am the most energetic and enthusiastic person on the floor. Oh, well, believe me, your thought is right, because at least that's what I tried to convey, and I hope that was the thought that struck your head. Then I realized how much communication is important based on the roles that we play in our personal as well as our professional lives. If you are a lead, or if you are a manager, and if you end up being that passive spoken teacher that I had witnessed, as a team member, how much would you value that person in that position? Right? Even if that person had all the technical knowledge to lead the team, but if the person does not have the appropriate communication style, he is going to miserably fail. Now, I being this energetic person, if I was in a town hall that is being headed by my CEO or one of the C-levels or one of those top guys whom you only get to see once in a quarter or once in 6 months in one of these posh hotels, I don't think I would go ahead and render my question in the same style. Isn't it? Yes. I would fine-tune, tone down, and probably use a better combination of words, go down on my voice, but still ensure that I'm heard, but would need to 100% make sure that the person who's actually listening to my question understands and I have a clarity of thought. So what I realized is though there are 108 different kinds of communication styles outside, it is a mirror image of the personality that you want the other person to perceive. If you want me to perceive as a soft-spoken, very quiet person, a timid one, then you can switch your communication. But there is one important thing in communication. The word communication itself means that it's two-way, right? Now imagine these great speakers who stand in a crowd and then millions of others who watch them over YouTube, but still get inspired and feel, you know what, yes, I feel like I have to do it. Many of these motivation speakers, they are not even in direct contact with you, but you still end up feeling the urge, the passion, the energy being transmitted just by the way they communicate. If it is a two-person communication, it doesn't matter whether your language is simple or complex. The purpose of the communication is the other person gets your message, understands, and accordingly responds. Now, I cannot guarantee you if it is good, the response is going to be in your favor or not. If my mom had ever given me a minute, I would have only said, no, it only needs a few seconds. No, I don't want to do it. But yeah, I never get the opportunity, so still not. So, well, that's my personal life and I will have to deal it in a very different sense. But eventually, when I wanted to go and see, okay, which of that personality that I wanted to be, I chose to follow my dad. Today, and I think till today, and forever in my life, he is going to be the role model of that person for communication. He believes in his 3-word mantra. Look at the eye, give a smile, and reciprocate. And with these 3, you would have ensured that you would have passed across the message and communicated successfully, just hoping the way I would have done it. Thank you. Back to the room.